That's my dude riding in the, oh. That's good stuff. My buddy is watching the live stream and riding next to me. Like we are door to door together right now. But he's splitting off to go the other direction. Yeah, there he goes in his tanker. So onward we go into the cities here in Minnesota. Going to go play in some traffic. Got some decent winds today. Fully loaded. And it should be an interesting ride through here. Let's see what the city brings today. This hill since we are heavy, and try to avoid, you know, getting into an accident, because that's kind of the end goal at the end of the day. So we're just going to cruise on easy down this hill, kind of keep a good distance. Got a couple pinch points. If you've been on here before during this drive, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like we got a couple of oversized loads mixed in up here too, so it's gonna be real yeah, it's probably gonna slow down pretty good up here. The morning commute here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I come up here twice a day with a full load of recycling, and we deliver to a sorting facility up here. So today I'll have my live stream going all the way up until I get on the scale. We can check out what I weigh. Oh boy. I got cars going everywhere right now. I got two merging off and two coming on, or one coming on. Oh, fucking move! Jesus, is it that hard to figure out how to merge? Come on. I do not want to hit my brakes that hard. I just shifted about 1,000 pounds forward. Good Lord. I may be loaded, but my trailer is not full. So when I hit my brakes, I'll get quite a few thousand pounds that'll shift forward, and I'll feel it kick my truck. It's almost like you're pulling liquid. live stream pretty much every time I come through here, or I do one when I'm on the back roads down in Iowa. Kind of like to show people what I do on my Monday through Friday, and I like to show kind of what I'm hauling, what I'm driving. I do kind of a different line of work that not everybody gets to see. I have no idea what's flashing lights up here. I don't know if this is an oversized or a plow truck. I think it looks like a plow truck. But I'm going to lose speed climbing this hill anyway, so it's not... Oh, it's a garbage truck. Never mind. He better not be going to the same place I am. Crap. He's totally going to beat me there. We're going to get stuck in this lane. Ouch. Bypass lane is now a paid bypass lane, but we'll get our speed back here momentarily. We're right about 80,000. We're maybe a couple 100 pounds off, so it takes a little bit for my truck to get moving through this stuff. There we go. Now we're starting to move. Well, come on in. Thanks for checking it out, seeing what it looks like to go through rush hour traffic in a semi. And I mean, actually, traffic's not bad right now. Everybody's moving along, so I can't say it's quite rush hour traffic, but it's probably gonna start thickening up before long here. So we'll keep out in this hammer lane, kind of keep going along. Eventually, we're gonna get back to that slow lane. Until then, we're gonna try to keep pace with traffic, you know, and be reasonable with it. Okay, you know, if you would have gave me a blinker beforehand, I would have slowed down for you, buddy. But no, you're good, yeah. Just merge right on over in front of me. I'm sure I'm not heavier than you are in your F-150. That's partially my fault because I'm out in the hammer lane. There's a reason behind it, and it may not make a lot of sense to people who don't drive semi, but essentially it's a lot harder for me to gain speed and slow down, right? So upcoming here, my two right lanes are going to be exit lanes and merge lanes. And when I'm sitting over there, the problem is people are going to be getting off in front of me. They're going to be getting on the interstate in front of me. And in order to let them on with a smoother transition, I stay out in the hammer lane. That allows people to kind of come and go freely on and off the interstate without having to worry about, you know, me being in their way, or, you know, me having to speed up to try and let them on or slow down. So I wait until I get up here past the two oncoming lanes, the two on merge lanes, and then I'll get back over. So you can see that there's a bobtail semi coming on. The garbage truck just got over for him. There's a car car sitting right there. Sorry about that. My wife called. My kiddo wanted to say hi to me this morning, so that kind of takes over. That takes precedence over just about everything else. We're fighting wind. We got heavy traffic. Once we get around this bend up here, we're gonna have traffic kind of flying all over the place. You probably saw that black car that decided to merge over in front of me. If I wasn't merging into the other lane, I probably would have blared my horn, but really it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. People just kind of do what they do. If you guys enjoy this or you want to learn more about truck driving, I have a few educational videos up currently about getting into driving and some tips and tricks for driving on snow and ice. I also have quite a few short videos up on what it looks like to unload what I haul, and I do quite a bit of live streams. So if you enjoy this, subscribe, jump on whenever I'm on here, because I promise I do at least 2 or 3 a day roughly. And I also try to do an early morning one. This week's just been kind of all over the place for schedule-wise, so I haven't been up early in the morning like usual. But we'll see if traffic up here just kind of flows on through. I got a feeling we're going to wind up having a little bit of stop and go once we get up to the downtown exit, the split. Well, Dalton, I don't know. How do you accomplish that? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw your middle finger when you were passing me, you fuck. To everybody that's reading that comment, that is my fuel hauling buddy. We were running convoy together on the way up here, and he thinks he's hot shit because he was able to go through the wind better with a tanker truck versus, you know, my giant 53-foot box trailer that's solid aluminum. And I might be a little heavier than he is today, but we don't discuss that. Once we get on the scale, though, when we get there, I'll show you what I weigh. But if I do, I probably won't be uploading this live stream. Just a little heads up. So if you're here, then you get to see it. If you're not, well, I guess you get to leave it up to your imagination. I'll introduce myself for everybody that's new before we get into the heavy traffic. Hi everybody, I go by the Lorax. I've been a semi driver on and off for about 8 years. I have a lot of interesting friends that also drive semi, but they're all fuel haulers because they think they're cool. Take Dalton. And I come up to the cities twice a day, play in some nice, fun, heavy traffic. I pull a 53-foot aluminum trailer with 3 axles. Currently, for video sakes, we're sitting at about 79,900 pounds. And we'll see how close to that we actually are when we get on the scale. I'll flip you guys back around, let you enjoy it, and we'll see if my buddy has anything else to say while we're doing this. So, when I am driving through the cities in a semi, this is a kind of a good thing for new drivers. It's really good to keep your distance, right? Because people are going to merge in front of you, they're going to cut in front of you, and it's basically something you just have to work into your driving. Now, when we start going slow, like when we're going slow enough to where I can get on my brakes, and I know for a fact that my semi's going to slow down before I were to hit somebody, that's when I'll ride closer. And I'm not looking to tailgate, I'm looking to ride close enough to where when a car comes up and they want to merge in front of me, they have to think twice before they're just going to do it, right? So usually what that'll do is it'll kind of force somebody to put their blinker on and say, hey, I would like to come over. And then I'm like, all right, I'll slow down, I'll let you over. I have no problem doing that. But if you come up and you put your blinker on just to cut me off, I'm not going to take very lightly to that. Because not only are you putting your life at risk, you're putting others' lives at risk. I do not have magic brakes. It's going to take me a hot second to slow this thing down to a stop. And if you're riding on the front of it, well, you're kind of just riding along until whenever my truck stops. That's all there is to it. So like that. Use the blinker, but really didn't give me a whole lot of time to react. Just another food for thought. And I'm not saying there aren't shitty truck drivers out here. There are. There are plenty of them. And trust me, I'll confront them. I know my buddy can vouch for that. But it's something I typically don't try to do. It's just more or less, there's a lot of shitty truck drivers. There's a lot of shitty car drivers. And at some point, they're going to keep doing it, thinking it's okay to do it, and then they're really going to get hurt. And I have seen it firsthand when I worked on an ambulance. People don't look like people when they're inside little metal balls, especially when they're crushed by a semi. I wouldn't really even call them people anymore. I call them what's left of a people. Of a person. Yes, I see you don't need to tailgate them. Good blinker. Shitty merging. That was a bad idea. Yep, we're right up here in the Twin Lakes. Twin Lakes, my God. We are in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, Minnesota. We're just cruising out through some heavier rush hour traffic. Depending on how fast I get in and out of my unloading facility, I'll do another live stream on the way out, because then we should be in the heaviest of the rush hour traffic in the mornings. Alright, we gotta try and get up here. I will try to do my best. I'll try not to hit either of them, because I feel like neither of them would be good outcomes. So far up here, when we were going through like the heavy protesting and stuff, I rarely saw anything that was on the interstate. The most I saw was like a couple of protests up over the interstate. All the crazy stuff that they were putting on the news, that was like contained within a 5-block radius down in, you know, somewhere else in Minneapolis. Otherwise, I really never actually saw anything up here during that time. I did see security detail for JD Vance when he came to town, but that was about it. Otherwise, I mean, I come up here twice a day. I know my route really well. I drive in this traffic every day. It doesn't really bother me anymore. It's more or less sometimes, you know, people get close enough to where I might leave a little chrome on their bumper. But, hey, that's okay, right? As long as our wheels stay on the ground, we'll be all right. We will be. I don't know about the other person. I will try not to have anything happen in front of my truck, because then I'm more than likely going to have to respond to it as an EMT. And I don't want to do that either. The good news is we're just about to our exit, so we'll have a little bit more traffic to play in, and then we'll get on the scale, see what it's looking like at the facility to unload. I'll show you guys, we'll kind of check out what my weight is. When I picked this trailer up down in Mason City, Iowa, there's really no scale for me to hit unless I go to the truck stop, and I do not head that direction when I go home with this trailer. So I really don't know my weight up until I get on the scale up here, but based on my suspension gauge, I would say we're going to be sitting really close to 80,000 today. Generally, my trailer's coming out of Mason City. All my weight's on the ass end, so I've gotten it down pretty good on my fifth wheel that I know my suspension gauge with these trailers. But then again, sometimes they surprise me. I did have a couple thousand pounds shift forward when I had to hit my brakes back there earlier in the live stream. So that is kind of throwing my gauge off on me a little bit, but we should be even. Yeah, we'll see. We'll just find out. It is nice and cold up here in Minnesota today. The wind has been rather, oh, that was nice. The wind has been rather heavy, so we've been fighting that the whole way up. And you really could have pulled forward for me there, but let's make this turn. Try not to scrape the crap out of my tire back there on the curb. Oh, and it looks like we're going to be in a line up here. I am seeing a lot of recycling trucks already. So there's a chance we might be sitting on the road today. Actually, yep, we are going to be sitting on the road until those garbage trucks pull forward for me, because I won't be able to fit in the. No, I might have spoke too soon. I might be able to fit in the driveway. I know you guys can't see what I'm looking at right now, but unless they pull forward before we turn, we're going to be sitting on the roadway until they do, because there's actually not enough room for me to get in the driveway right now. But that's okay. While we're sitting at this light, waiting to turn, I'll introduce myself. Hello, everybody. I go by the Lorax. My name on YouTube is TattedLorax. Kind of guess why. I'm completely covered in tattoos. I've been a tattoo enthusiast for a while, but we've tried different careers, and this is kind of where I just always find myself back. Financially speaking, this is kind of the best outcome. I was an EMT for about a year, and found out I couldn't really afford childcare. So here we are. Anywho, I'll flip you guys back around to enjoy the turn that we're going to go through, and then we're going to be kind of sitting on the road. That's the first time I've seen that. I mean, you see it up here, but never had him cross an intersection on me. All right, let's make this turn. Son of a biscuit. Alright. Well, bear with me for a second. I'm going to have to back in traffic to fit on the road. Because right now I'm blocking a driveway to a different business. Please recognize that I'm backing, and apparently you can't see me. The last thing I would want to happen is somebody's coming up on me while I'm trying to back and just, you know, rams the holy hell out of my trailer. Heads up, driver, I'm backing. Alright, we're gonna get backed up past this driveway so we're not in the way of that. Keep it close to the curb. And I guess while we're sitting here for a second, I'll take you guys out. We'll go back to the back of my trailer, lift my axle so I can try and turn a little bit easier. Alright. I'll show you why this is a really bad section to try and back at. There's literally a light right behind me. So, let's go out for a little journey, shall we? And, you know, this way if I get hit, I've got like 50 of you that can vouch for me. Alright. So, nope. Yeah, this is why it's a bad section to back at. So, there's a light right there. I've got traffic coming towards me. So we're going to do this quick. We're going to get that up. And, yeah, we're just going to get in the truck right away. Okay. In. There we go. We're in. Woo! As much as I love playing leapfrog, I don't like playing leapfrog where I am the frog, you know? Alright. If you're able to fit in there, Waste Management, go ahead. I'm gonna wait until this garbage rig pulls forward because I don't think I'm gonna have enough room. Oh, come on, you got 19 on there? So now, on the other side here, I've got trucks that are going in to the facility. He can probably fit. But I can't right now. You got your ears on in there? I'll try and swing wide to get in here and see if I can't get up and nose in towards that fence, and maybe you can get right up next to me. Alright, bear with me everybody, this is going to take a second. I got you. We'll rearrange when we get in there. We're backing up traffic pretty hard behind me. Yeah, it's all good. Sorry about that. I didn't think I was going to have enough room to get in here. No, you're good, man. Sorry. Whenever, if I don't think I can make it in the driveway, I'll sit back there and not block that driveway. I try to sit back at all. Yeah, you're all good, man. You're all good. All right. That guy's really nice. You have really good drivers that come in here, and then you have some not so good drivers that come in here, but he actually allowed me to go in front of him. He thought I was stuck where I was sitting, which I don't blame him. I was sitting there with my hazards on, but I try not to block that. I try not to block the driveway to the business next to this, because they do get quite a few people that go in and out of there. But yeah, here we are. And here's my view. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, we're right on up in here, just because this place can back up really bad. And I mean, where that light is that I was showing you, I'll get people that wind up behind me sitting at that light. But we should be pulling on the scale here shortly. I'll flip it around. We can see kind of what we're at weight-wise. If we're lucky, they'll be backing in 2 trucks at a time for the door, so, or 2 for 2 doors. So that should help us get in and out of here a lot quicker, which would be kind of nice. Just because, well, I'm not sure what today's going to wind up looking like. I don't know if I'm going to have to try and come back up here with another load or not. I know I'm going to have another one ready. It's just more or less how full the building is I got to pull from is going to really make a determination on whether I come back up here with another load. And I know we got weather coming, so don't get me wrong. I have came up here and I have sat up here long enough where we had a blizzard roll through, and I mean, it left a literal sheet of ice. And what should have taken me an hour to get home took me about 2 hours and 10 minutes to get home. So that's kind of the last thing I would like to wind up dealing with today, especially up in the cities when you get like a lot of ice and crap. And I'm talking about the slick stuff on the road, not the slick people. Yeah, when you wind up on that crap up here, you think people drive bad on dry pavement? Yeah. I don't think half of them would be good at ice skating on their feet. They're not good at it on 4 wheels either. And there's plenty of semi-drivers that, well, they shouldn't be on ice either. As soon as weather gets bad, they should probably park. Because remember, ice does not give a shit how heavy your truck is. In fact, being heavy on ice is not good. It's actually worse. I'd rather have a light load than a heavy load on ice. Now, snow and sleet, yeah, I want to be heavy, because I can plow through that and I can get down to the pavement. My tires will cut right through the pavement when I'm heavier. But you got to remember, where's all your momentum? It's not in your truck. It's in your trailer. It's in the weight on your trailer. And if you're not careful, yeah, it'll take you for a joyride. It'll pretty much, you're going to be at your trailer's mercy when things break free. But let's get up on the scale here. I'm going to check in with the scale house, and we'll kind of see what I'm weighing right now. It'll be my first time seeing it too, so let's just hope we were pretty close on our estimate. Oh shit, we're good. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. We're perfect. Alright, I'm going to check in with the scale house and then we'll get pulled forward. One moment. Alright, we are checked in with the scale house. Just waiting for them to respond to us, and then we'll get pulled forward. Wasn't too bad of a drive up here. The wind was a little so I'll be fighting that on the way back. Alright, and we're good to go. So let's get pulled forward. We'll get up here. you never know how heavy you're going to be when you're pulling these Mason City trailers. It's really hard to tell where all the weight's at. My truck on the scale with the front end of my trailer, I was 40,000, 41,000. So depending on how much weight is left over in the SN, it could be a guessing game. Oh, thank you. Looks like, well, you guys might be joining me for a hot second. You might be on for a moment while I'm getting backed in. Welcome on in. What do we got here? Alright, so I got 2 recycling trucks indoors. Both my loader, I'll flip this around. Both my loaders are kind of sitting off to the side right now, so I don't know if he's telling me I can back in or not. Kind of waiting to hear the beep. I'll flip it back around shortly. I'm just showing you kind of what the lot looks like that I'm going to have to try and back into. I don't know if I'm good to go or not. Usually when they back up like that, that tells me I'm good to go, but I need to get a... Oh, alright, never mind. Not entirely sure what we got going on up here. Usually they honk or they'll, you know, they'll give me some kind of cue that I'm good to pull in, but I'm guessing they're waiting until the garbage truck here gets out. So the problem that I wind up with backing here is when these guys are kind of stuck off to the right like that, it makes it really hard to maneuver my truck trailer to get into a door. And I'm probably just gonna run this live stream while I unload, and we'll just run it all the way out of the cities once we get out of here. It'll take me maybe 20 minutes to unload. But while I'm unloading, I'll take you guys back, let you check out what it looks like to see my trailer unloading, kind of see stuff getting kicked around in there, and yeah, let you guys see a little bit of my world through my Monday and Friday. But as of right now, we're just kind of hanging out. Well, that one's done. I'm gonna grab it in my fridge here. Nice to meet you. Welcome on in. You know, actually, I think I'm gonna drink water. I really gotta cool it with the energy drinks here. Oh, Jesus. Alright. For everybody that is new and just kind of checking it out, joining in, I go by the Lorax. I'm a recycling hauler here in Minnesota. I haul for northern Iowa, Mason City, Iowa, and southeastern Minnesota for Albert Lea. I am the only recycling hauler for those two cities. So whenever a recycling truck brings your recycling to the transfer station, it gets put into my trailer, and then I bring it up here to the cities for it to get processed. I don't know who he's honking at. honking at me, or... Okay. So now, after he's backed in, I should be able to, which will make it a lot easier for me to get backed in here, because otherwise it's kind of a pain. And don't mind my thinking face when I'm backing. I make a lot of facial expressions, just gonna throw that out there. Turn off those, turn off that. Pop out of gear for the moment. And now we should get the signal to get backed in. Oh, never mind, he's blocking that right now. There we go. Maybe. Maybe. Maybe not. Alright, and we're gonna get backed in, so bear with me, everybody. Get backed in. Start getting unloaded. Actually, if you want, you can watch the front of my truck swing around. I went over a little too far there. Alright everybody, bear with me for a moment. Let me get this thing unloading and then I will take you out of the truck and show you what it's doing. Okay, now we're gonna get my pump going. put air to the trailer. Turn that on. Slowly let the pump out. All right. Well, I don't make money. I don't have enough followers or anything like that, but let me show you what this is doing. So, we got my hydraulic lines hooked up. PTO pump is running. Had to come back, pull out my locking mechanism. Axle's lifted, and here's what it looks like to unload. And that is what it looks like coming out of my trailer. So I pull what's called a walking floor trailer. And then on this side of me, they come over. The operators come over, they scoop it, push it out of the way, get it off my trailer, out from behind my trailer, and they put it into what's called a sorter. This conveyor system takes it to a sorter. The sorter goes through the recycling and it breaks it down, turns it to where it needs to go. And then within this facility, they take it, repackage it, and then ship it out on other trucks to use as repurposed bulk material. But so this is my the main job that I do on my Monday through Fridays. I also run, sometimes I do landfill, which I have videos of uploading in the landfill of what it looks like to actually offload there too. And I also run pneumatic tanker. So I pull dry bulk, I pull dry powder, concrete powder, different aspects of that area as well, but this is my main job. Oh, very nice. Yep. So you know all about you probably know more of the ins and outs of how it actually goes inside a transfer station than I do. I just know from the research I've done and from the amount of times I've been in here, not to mention when we actually have to back up. So when the building gets really full, when things are frozen, we'll back into the building on the other side where the actual sorter is, and we'll dump right into the top of the sorter, and it'll take it from there. But at least, so all I do is I bring in the bulk recycling material from 2 different transfer stations that are brought in from various towns, places, anybody who uses that recycling service, and I'm kind of the final result for it. But yeah, that is what it looks like for my trailer unloading. We could probably actually walk back there a little bit, and you can see the operator pushing the material out from behind my trailer. Let's go for it. Let's see. It might be a little loud, so give you a heads up there. So as the trash is dumping out, so it'll come out, and then the operator will come back and he'll push it to the pile on the other side of me. But get over here. So out. The operator's going to come up and he's going to push it with his bucket. And he's basically pushing it out of the way. And this is what it looks like for my trailer to unload. So you can see I've got my 3 axles. You can't see it from where we're standing right now, but the floor is walking the trash out the back of my trailer with the hydraulics. And that's what you're hearing with that kicking, if you can hear it. So he comes up with his bucket. And just keeps pushing it out of the way for us. And this is essentially what I do twice a day, Monday through Friday. We can take a look under the trailer here. So might be a little hard to see, but the floor is actually walking. So the floor is essentially shifting back and forth in different sections, and it is just kind of pushing the recycling out slowly, right? We'll hang out here for the moment until he gives me the signal that we're empty. Once we're emptied out, then I go back, I shut the door, I shut my PTO pump off, make sure my door is sealed up, clean any remaining recycling off the back of my trailer so it's not flying off in traffic. You wouldn't believe the amount of glass. Actually, if you follow me, if you do follow me on here, I did run over a piece of glass last week that actually punctured my tire. Definitely a first time to have glass go through one of my tires on my trailer. As you can see that I have bigger tires on my trailer because I run 60,000 pound rear axles. And yeah, it managed to puncture a tire last week, or earlier this week, and I had to get a tire replaced before I could even leave the facility. But I will probably, I'm just trying to think. I don't know if I should leave my stream running until I leave, because I'm going to start another one as soon as I get back into traffic, because by the time we leave here, we're going to be driving back through like heavy rush hour traffic. We'll be empty at least, so that'll be nice. If anything, I'll leave my stream going, kind of let you hang out, and you guys could totally add comments, questions, anything you would like to know. I'll try and answer what I can. Household garbage too. Yeah, yep, landfill. So when I go down to Lake Mills, Iowa, we have a landfill down there that I will run our dump trailers to. It's essentially the same thing as what I'm pulling right now, except they're 48 feet and they only have 2 axles on the back. Recycling doesn't like to stay in place very well inside my trailers. It likes to shift a lot. So like if you were on the live stream earlier when I was going through traffic, I had to hit my brakes, and I had about maybe 1,000 pounds shift forward in my trailer, and it's almost like when you're pulling liquid. So for example, say this is a full liquid tanker and this is the front of your truck. When you hit the brakes, the water, will jolt forward and it'll push, because that's the way the momentum is going. So it's kind of the same thing. Yeah, both facilities I go to are, I would say, secured. So to where, you know, you have certain hours you're allowed in there. Up here in the cities, I can deliver up here until like 10 p.m. at night. They open at 5 in the morning and they're open until 10 p.m. So I've got a good window of getting in here. The landfill, on the other hand, is only open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. So that one, if I wind up doing landfill, I got to be a little more on top of when I got to get my loads there and how long it takes me to offload. But yes, this is my my Monday through Friday. Yes, yeah, that's what makes it's secured in the sense that it's, you know, inside the box, but it's not secured in the sense that it won't move on me or it won't shift. So I can definitely have a couple 1,000-pound shift forward. So like when I take turns, like curves on the interstate, I take them a little bit slower because, you know, say I am going around a curve and I'm doing 10 miles over, that could be enough to just kick weight to one side or the other of the trailer. And that could be enough to, you know, really rock the boat. And I don't like rocking the boat in this thing. I pulled hazmat tanker as well, and I pulled milk. So I got really good with knowing slosh and when it's gonna hit, and the differences between like having a pocketed trailer versus just a big smooth bore trailer. But when it comes to, the recycling aspect of it, we might be done soon. I couldn't tell if he gave me a thumbs up or if he was taking pictures of the recycling material. Alright, and we are done. So, we're going to get pulled forward. You'll have to bear with me again while I get everything kind of locked up, shut up. I did not say that correctly. Bear with me again for a moment. I'm going to go get everything taken care of, and then we'll scale out and we'll go play in traffic again. I'll be right back. And let's roll. So we are unloaded. And we are, yeah, we're gonna roll. We're gonna roll out. We're gonna roll out. Oh. Can't see anything on that side. Okay. And yeah, up here in the Twin Cities, yeah, it gets interesting some days with the four-wheelers. But I come up here a lot, so I've gotten fairly used to dealing with a lot of the people up here. A lot of the people that just can't drive cars, or semis for that matter, because there's plenty of those too. Alright. Bear with me a second, I just gotta get backed out. Usually I could just flip a U-turn there, but there's a recycling truck kind of sitting in the way, so I gotta back out. So as you can see, it doesn't take a whole lot of time for me to actually unload, which is nice. But what happens is inside the facility, things will freeze up, and then we start getting piled in here. And I've sat up here for 6 hours before, just waiting to get to the building to unload. So there is definitely that. But that's usually during the really cold times in winter. Oh, wow. That's a good amount of distance. I mean, I can tell you I'm not near that for mileage myself. I'm maybe over 700,000 with my current experience. I've done a lot of different types of driving. So like I've done oversized loads, tankers, I've done specialized trailers like specialized stretch trailers. So I've done a variety of things in this industry, but now that I've got a family and a little one, I kind of stick to making sure I'm home every night and, well, running what I'm running. But I'll show you guys what it looks like on the way out here. So this is the other side of the facility where these trucks are getting loaded with like raw material, the cardboard that I bring in. Essentially, it goes through the facility, gets all packed up, and then it gets on to those guys who take it elsewhere for other use. Alright, just need to check in with the scale operator and then we'll get out of here. Alright. Yep, I can't blame you at all for that. It's a lot. There's, a lot that comes along with having a CDL, and especially here in the States, we're looked at with a lot more scrutiny. So if something happens, we're looked at with a lot more scrutiny around here. But we will get rolling, and we're essentially going to go right back onto the freeway. Time-wise, yeah, we should be in the heavier rush hour traffic now, but at least we're empty, so there's that. We'll take a quick stop here for a second. Yep, usually the truck driver does. It just depends on circumstances. That's why I run a dash cam, and sorry, in my fridge. That's why I run a dash cam, and my company has a tattletale camera in here as well, so everything I do is on camera, right? And then I do this as well, so I also have however many people in here watching, you know, watching me drive, watching what I'm doing. So I just drive as I do, and you know, I try to do my best, especially out here, because the cities, somebody's always in a rush, and you know, they have no problem wasting your life for 30 seconds of their time, right? It's all the time up here. It happens all the time. Totally forgot to show you guys my empty weight, but I am, with this trailer, 43,000 pounds. So still heavier, but this is actually one of my lower weights when I'm empty. Usually I'm about 45,000 with my trailers, but this one is a newer one that I pull, and it's a little less on weight, which is nice. Sorry. Thought I had a little more. Yeah, it's not like it used to be. It's really not like what it used to be. So my hope with you know, doing this live stream is kind of bringing awareness of what a day-to-day looks like for a semi driver, right? Now, it's not to say that all semi drivers are great drivers, yada yada. They're not. Okay. There are plenty of semi drivers that are just awful. They're awful. As for can I see the comments? I can actually hear them. I have a screen reader. I do glance over, but I'm able to hear everything. And now here we go. We're going to be getting on the freeway momentarily. I'll flip you guys back around so you can check out the road, and you can kind of watch some of the traffic as I'm trying to drive through it. Yeah, even when I'm empty, I'm still heavy. So my empty weight is pretty much around, you know, the same as a truck with a light load. Hey, that makes sense. I totally understand it. I have my good days and I have my bad days. It's not easy doing it. Let's see what traffic does on the way out of here. We're gonna make our way south. Probably go pick up my trailer for Monday. And yeah, not really sure if I'm gonna be bringing that back up here or not. It's gonna depend on a few phone calls I gotta make when I get out of the cities. But you guys can hang out with me until I get out of the cities. We can at least hang out and kind of enjoy the traffic together, I guess. Oh, I will. I'll hammer down here. Right now the hammer lane's kind of blocked up, so I can't get out in the hammer lane. So I'm gonna have to just kind of ride in the middle lane for a little bit here until we get further down. guys enjoy jumping in with me for some of my live streams. I do live streams. I've got videos. I've got a lot I need to go through and edit so I can actually start putting some videos up. I've been getting different footage from like the top of my trailers, and I've got to try and get my mirror mount to work. Problem is it vibrates a lot, so there's a lot of noise that's mixed in there. But I will be going through, and yeah, should be pretty nice. Yeah, when you're in the cities, if you're in that lane, you're gonna want to move some ass, because if you're out there just, you know, camping, yeah, you'll get cut off and brake checked pretty quick. So whenever I'm in that lane, I'm riding with traffic, so I can try and avoid that. The thing about the lane that I'm in right now is people will come up and they'll cut me off to get in front of the people that are camping in that lane. Like this white pickup. He's been kind of looking over here, and I'm already anticipating him coming over, but I'm guessing the vehicle up ahead of me is what's stopping him. Because once he gets over here, he's basically going to be stuck. So that's, you know, some of the pre-anticipation that you got to have when you're out doing this. Oh, we'll see what this does on the way out. But I will be posting this live stream as well if you missed any of it and you want to see the unloading process again or what it looks like. It might have been hard to hear me, so sorry for that. I can't hear what I actually sound like on the other end of this. That's why I just try to talk louder than my truck, because I have a fairly loud semi as well. Oh yeah, yep. If I wind up getting a motorcycle again, which I'm hoping to this year, but yeah, it's basically the same thing. You gotta watch out. I may be, you know, 10 times bigger and 80 times heavier than somebody else, or, you know, way heavier than any other vehicles, but that's just more risk. One wrong move on my end could wipe out a family, you know? Kind of the same thing on their end too. So there's always a risk, especially in this high traffic stuff. But when I was over the road, I played in so many different cities and heavy traffic that it doesn't really bother me anymore. Very nice. And yeah, I can't stop as fast as a car. That's true. Even when I'm empty, it still is going to take me a lot to stop, just because of the weight alone. But the good news is I know my truck fairly well. I can drive it with a cautious confidence and know that 9 times out of 10 I can stop before somebody else does, or I know a way out if I have to take the way out. Yeah, you know, I teach on the weekends when it warms up here. I'm also a CDL instructor, and teaching people how to drive a semi, honestly, I thought was going to be a lot different, even easier to say the least. It's a lot more difficult to explain why we do something the way we do it. You know, when you're out here doing it, it's not a thought process. It just it becomes subconscious. In a semi with somebody who's brand new to it, there's a lot that you got to teach, and, you know, a lot of explanations you got to give behind why you do something the way you do it. It's a whole different breed, whole different animal to, you know, like trying to shift with my left hand while riding in the passenger seat. That's something else. So this is another reason I do my videos and I do my live streams, is I still have students that will follow me. They kind of check out my stuff. And like when I've done a pre-trip and, you know, been thumping my tires, and all of a sudden I hear that very distinct, hey, I don't have air in my tire noise. That's a great one to go, yeah, so if I would have drove off with that tire would have made it about, I don't know, 20 miles, and it would have just shredded itself all over the place, probably caused an accident, and then that's a liability for not doing a proper pre-trip. The tires on my trailer, you know, are big. They're bigger. They're 20,000 pound rated tires. Well, the axles are 20,000 pounds. And if they go, they go. Oh, very nice. Very nice. I never did any heavy equipment operating in the military. My MOS was 0311. Oh yeah. Yeah, my dad liked to say as soon as they get in their cars, they put their horse binders on. And that's all they see is straight ahead of them. And there is a lot of truth and validity to that too. Especially when you're out here. You know, you see the people that do that. Okay. Nice. I've got a buddy that was in the Army that was a heavy equipment operator. I'm gonna forget what it was. What his MOS was. I think it was like 88 Bravo, if I'm not mistaken. But he came out, and now he is a fuel truck hauler. So he runs a fuel tanker. One of them, anyways. I've got quite a few buddies that do fuel tank. And they drive up here in the cities, you know, pretty much as a rolling bomb. Which, yeah, I don't know if I would ever consider going back to that again, to be honest. I didn't mind it, but at the same breath, I really like where I'm at. Looks like traffic is actually holding up pretty nice, so we might luck out getting out of the cities. The only place that I think we might hit something is going to be towards the end of the cities, where it's called the Valley. It's basically a downhill, uphill, and right now they're doing construction, so it bottlenecks from 4 lanes to 2 lanes with Jersey walls on both sides. That's the only place that I really run into like stop traffic at this point. But we'll see if that's anything today or not. Some days it is, some days it isn't. Kind of depends on the amount of traffic that's flowing, and right now it's looking fairly light. Out of this hammer lane. Nice. So you're definitely in for a little bit. Well, thank you. It's always nice to have a veteran of any branch, really, in the chat, kind of hanging out, checking it out. Okay. Is that just was that just a standard 3 years, or was that, you know, the 6 years, 3 years on duty, 3 years weekend warrior? right now where he was active for, 4 years, and now he's got his 4 years on standby or something. And then we're going to hang out in this hammer lane and just kind of cruise in traffic. Okay, yep. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I would have gotten to stay in a lot longer if I wasn't medically discharged myself. But I had 3 discs herniated while at boot camp. So, never even got there in the title, unfortunately. But I did get one hell of a mindset coming out. Thank you very much. I'll definitely keep posting, doing live streams, doing videos when I can. I'm not very good with technology, so it takes me a hot minute. You as well, have a safe day, safe travels. There you go. Yeah, Germany would be a really nice place to go to. I haven't really traveled abroad. I've gone to Mexico a few times now, but that's about as far as I've gone outside of the U.S. In the U.S., I've gone pretty much everywhere. Try to do what I can. Trying to find a balance between, working 60, 70 hours a week, and my family takes a little bit of practice. It's taken a lot of practice. I generally start at 1:30 in the morning. This week has kind of been all messed up, so my times for starting has been all over the place. My loads have been a little less frequent this week, but I'm not sure if it's gonna ramp back up. It probably will soon, and then I'll be right back to starting at 1:30 in the morning again and running my 12 to 16-hour days. Sometimes I run on Saturdays or Sundays. It just kind of depends on what we got going. We're down drivers right now, so I've been trying to pick up a little bit where I can, but I'm fairly restricted in that sense. Can't really pick up a whole lot with logbooks. Whoa! What the hell was that? Jesus criminy. To have you here and checking everything out. Welcome in. Yeah, I'm not sure what that slowdown was for, right? It's 65 through here and we're not even doing 55. Usually if there's going to be a backup in this area, it starts at the top of the hill we just went down. We'll see traffic slow down a little bit up through this bottleneck. So we lost our left lane. We're going to lose that far right lane, and it's just going to be these 2 lanes coming through here. guess I'm gonna get, oh, there it goes. Alright, now we can get through here. It's a little tight through here, a little tight. Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that black car. More than likely, there's an older person that doesn't like coming through traffic, and, well, I don't necessarily blame them. Older person or a new driver. Back when I was over the road, I used to go up through Ontario, Toronto, all the time. Used to go down the 401 to Highway 30, and generally I was going to like northern Quebec. And yeah, it's about the same. The only difference is the semis are covered at 62 up there, you know, 100. I think it was 105 kilometers. Some could do 110. My truck, well, my truck was able to do about 130, but, you know, I really never went that fast in Canada. I kept it very mild, because I didn't want to mess around with the MOT. Oh, okay, yep. So, yeah, so 100 kilometers was about what most semis I ran around with out there can do. Every now and then you'll get some of the Canadian drivers coming down here from Alberta, and you know they don't get their trucks turned up before they get in here, which, oh yeah, no, I know it's not the trucks. It generally isn't. Nine times out of 10, it's not. But there are definitely truck drivers out there that, you know, it's questionable. driving 480 miles. Hanging out. I'm kind of hoping have a snowstorm coming tonight. Central Iowa got hit last night. I don't know what that will be turning into, but we won't be back down to Iowa until probably Monday. The wind is still pretty heavy up here right now too, so I don't even know if I'm going to be able to maintain the speed that I'm actually going. Once I get out to where it's more flat land, I'll probably wind up having to slow down a little bit. Where I drive, I don't necessarily have to worry about that too much. But I imagine it does help out quite a bit. I'm glad to hear that. The last few winters I drove were rather interesting. That lake effect on the 401 is definitely no joke. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, you definitely don't see either of those here. I mean, we still have quite a few, like, Freightliners that are running around, or Kenworths that, you know, have the flat hood, flat base, but anymore it's pretty far and few between. I maybe see one or two a week at most out here, up and down Interstate 35. Even though my truck is a day cab, I still have probably just over a 215-inch wheelbase. So I mean, by comparison, if I pulled up next to a Freightliner here with a sleeper on it, I would be about the same length of truck. Yeah, my trailers are 53 feet with 3 axles all the way at the end of the trailer, so I can't slide my axles or anything. They're locked in place where they're at. Yeah, that's pretty interesting to learn about. Our I had permits for it with my current setup. But generally I don't get over 80. Most of the time my trailers, everything stays at that 80,000 mark, even when I'm full of fuel. Two drive axles, one steer axle, and then I have 3 trailer axles. But my truck, you have a great day as well, and be looking for some new videos coming up. I should hopefully have some more getting put out soon. So like with the length of my truck, I have a sliding fifth wheel. So if say I need to put more weight on my truck, I can slide my fifth wheel forward off my drives, and I can shift weight onto my steer axle. And it just helps me, I can balance out my truck a little bit better when it comes to the weight. Like heavy wind and stuff, I can put more weight up on my truck to try and counteract some of that. Most of the time I just leave it where it's at, because it takes a pretty good amount of wind to actually move me around. Like this morning on my way up, I was getting shifted around a little bit, but not as bad as I've dealt with before. If I had a tag axle on the frame of my semi, yeah, I would be able to go up a little. I'd be able to go up quite a bit more weight actually. But since I run what I run, it doesn't. I mean, yeah, it would be beneficial, but cost-wise to do it would be up there quite a bit to where it's probably not super profitable for my company. So any of the heavy haul trucks that we generally have the higher side of we have more trailer axles than anything. Yeah, it wouldn't be super financial. It would be nice for when I do hit my brakes and I get weight that shifts forward. But if that happens, then if I really have to, I can just push my fifth wheel back or forward and try to take some weight off the drives. It kind of depends on where the fifth wheel is put. Right now I have it back farther, so I have more weight on my drives. And if I have to push weight onto the steer axles, I can, but I can only move my fifth wheel maybe 3 or 4 notches, because it's shifting. Every notch is 250 pounds. So every notch I shift forward, I put 250 pounds more up onto my steer axle. I'll introduce myself while we're kind of going down the road here. I go by the Lorax. My YouTube name is TattedLorax. I'm covered in quite a few tattoos. Outside of that, I've been a driver for about 8 years. I've done a lot of different driving on and off throughout my career. And I've tried different careers, but I've always stayed as a part-time semi-driver, so I've really never gotten out of driving semi. I've just taken breaks from it, so to speak. Was not able to take care of childcare while I was working as an EMT, and wound up kind of getting back in the driver's seat about 9 months ago, and that's kind of where I've been since. like the company I'm with. They treat me very well. I like the equipment that I'm driving, so this kind of is just what it is. But I'm going to wind up getting off here. I'm going to make some phone calls, get some things figured out for the day. I've got a busy weekend coming up, and unfortunately, I have to do a lot of things from my driver's seat. Generally, I'm just not home in time to get things taken care of like I want to, so I usually have to try and do a lot more planning out. But if you've enjoyed kind of hanging out with me, checking out traffic, seeing what it looks like for me to unload, once this video processes, I will put it up on my channel for everybody to watch later on. I've got a few different videos up about my trailers, how they operate, unloading and infill. As it gets warmer, I'm sure I'll be kind of jumping around, doing a few different things for my company. And, oh, you got snow coming off your trailer. We don't like that, but you all have a wonderful day. Drive safe, get home to your family safe, and overall, I look forward to seeing you guys in future live streams, and we'll see what kind of things we can get ourselves into. Hopefully not a lot. It's fun to watch, not fun to deal with. But you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Sorry, just looking to get out of this camera lane. And thank you again for joining in. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.